All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here, and this is new to me. I've heard of Ben Shapiro. He's been all over the place as far as like debates popping up on YouTube, trending all over, but I've never actually seen any of his stuff, so I figured I'd start with his most recent spiel. He's wrecking Jon Stewart, who's a very famous TV personality. I first saw him in Big Daddy. He was Adam Sandler's roommate in that movie. Jon Stewart Show, Daily Show, all of that. But Ben Shapiro, he's an American conservative political commentator, media host, attorney, and columnist. Became the youngest nationally syndicated columnist in the U.S. at age 17. So he's been popping up all over the place. So we're going to see if it's for all the right reasons, if he's hitting people upside the head with facts, or I don't know what to expect. So y'all let me know any info I need to know down below, what videos I need to check out after this one. I'm trying something new instead of music reactions. I'm, getting informed on what's going on in the world, which is always a good thing. But hey, let's get into it.
Our cultural elites, they hate you. They really, really hate you. They love them. Right? Everything for them is about assuring their own sense of virtue and a place for them among the peoples. This is their goal. And never do you see this more than when it comes to people who are just panderers like Jon Stewart. So Jon Stewart has a new show on Apple TV. And this new show is basically just old man spouting left-wing propaganda talking points. And it's awkward. It's hard to watch. But it does demonstrate how members of the left think of you, particularly in our entertainment elite. This is how they think of you. And they wish to push the most left-wing views imaginable. So here is Jon Stewart. This is the other night. Doing first of all, the screen cap is everything. It is a white man sitting in front of a bill, in front of a board that says, the problem with white people. The problem with white people, and it's a bunch of people, white people looking like they are carving a turkey for dinner. It's like a traditional white family. When I say traditional, I mean it looks like mom and dad and some kids and some grandkids. The problem with white people, says this old white man. And yes, Jon Stewart now qualifies as an old white man. Here he is ranting about how white people are the worst, Jon Stewart.
For however sincerely we want to reckon and listen, the truth is America has always prioritized white comfort over black survival. Black people have had to fight so hard for equality that they've been irreparably set back in the pursuit of equity.
So this 59-year-old white man is telling you that white people have always prized their own comfort. Now, apparently it doesn't apply to him, but here's the thing. It does apply to him. It does apply to him because Jon Stewart is about assuring his own comfort, his own ideological comfort. It makes him feel better to dissociate from the other bad white people. When he says this, he becomes one of the good white people. There's a point that Black author Shelby Steele has made repeatedly in his book, White Guilt, that so much of our current media culture, so much of our elite culture is driven by white liberals who wish to run the whole thing. And no more even white liberals, white radical leftists who wish to run the whole thing. And the way that they get to maintain their moral imprimatur is by condemning all the other bad white people, all the other bigoted people. And Jon Stewart is indicative of this case. And so there was this very strange and awkward exchange between Jon Stewart and Andrew Sullivan, who is a gay white man, and a crazy white race-baiting lady named Lisa Bond. Lisa Bond runs an organization that is just one of the great grifts I've ever heard of. I've talked about it on the program before. She runs it with Sarai Rao. And the entire thing is she gets together with guilty white upper crust liberals and she lectures them about racism. That it is called Race to Dinner. It costs $2,500 and you can enlist the services of Race to Dinner, according to Mediaite, whose helpful grifters will come to your house, eat your food, and tell you how racist you are. It's an actual thing. And Lisa Bond runs it. So Jon Stewart has on Lisa Bond and Andrew Sullivan. And Andrew Sullivan points out that wokeness is a big negative. For the vast majority of Americans, they're not interested in being categorized by race. They want to be treated as individuals. And Lisa Bond goes off on Andrew Sullivan because, after all, he has no authority to speak. He is a white man. Now, just on the intersectional hierarchy, let's point out here that Lisa Bond is a white woman. Andrew Sullivan is a gay white man. So I don't know Lisa Bond's sexual orientation. But assuming that she's not gay, this means that he outranks her on the intersectional hierarchy because Andrew Sullivan is openly gay. That doesn't matter because Andrew Sullivan is about to say something that is not in line with leftist thinking. You only get to be on the leftist intersectional hierarchy if you agree with everything that they say, which is how Jon Stewart gets to say the things he says. So Lisa Bond is about to rip into Andrew Sullivan, and Jon Stewart will agree because Jon Stewart has lost the thread, because left-wing America has lost the thread.
I'm going to put everybody in the thing. All of us white people do this. I don't care if we say we're abolitionists. I don't care if we say we're progressive. I don't care if we're literally members of the KKK. Every single white person upholds these systems and structures of white supremacy, and we have got to talk about it.
If I could finger snap, I would finger snap right now.
Because finger snapping. And look at all these white people talk about how morally superior to you they are. We have to talk about it, says Lisa Vaughn. Okay, let's talk about how much money you are making off of stupid radical leftists who think that they've alleviated their white guilt by hiring a white broad to tell them about their own internalized racism. You morons. I mean, it's just incredible. But this has bled up to every element of our society, every element. The radical left, everything that starts off as a radical left proposal in America eventually becomes mainstream. And so now you have, for example, the NFL, which has announced that they are going to create rules that force the hiring of women and people of color. Force it, which, by the way, is a violation of the Civil Rights Act. And we talked at the beginning of the show about the Biden administration suggesting it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act for you to say, I don't want my kindergartner indoctrinated with LGBTQ propaganda. You know what's actually a violation of the Civil Rights Act? Hiring people because of their race. That is a violation not only of the Civil Rights Act, it's a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. But the NFL is doing it now. According to NPR, at an owners' meeting this week in Florida, the league announced other diversity steps as well. A 6-person committee of advisors from outside the NFL to review the league's hiring practices and a commitment by teams to increase diversity among team owners, a fraternity that's almost entirely white. The NFL says teams have to actually hire a, quote, a female or a member of an ethnic or racial minority as an offensive assistant coach in 2022. So it's now a make-work program for affirmative action candidates over in the NFL. Why? Because after all, we are also racist. We are also racist. And this myth must continue to be pervaded, that America is a deeply racist country, despite the fact that by polling data, we are perhaps the least racist country on planet Earth. It's amazing how critics of America have spent zero time actually investigating other countries. So solipsistic and self-centered. The only country on Earth apparently is America. Who's got 2 thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?
All right, Ben, I see. Very, very eloquent in the way he speaks. Man, let's start with the Jon Stewart thing. Let's start with why are we so extreme on pointing out the past? Why are we so just adamant in pointing out how people in the past messed up? No, it wasn't easy for black folks in the past. It wasn't easy at all in the past. Has it gotten better? Has it progressed? Are there opportunities readily available for black, white, green, purple, yellow? Absolutely. Why do you think the borders, everybody wants to open the borders, everybody wants to come over here, everybody wants to come to America, land of the free, because of the brave? That's what I truly believe, and that's what I know, because if there's anything, I don't care what your color of skin tone is, I don't care what your sex is, if there's something you want to achieve, if you're willing to work for it and you have the physical capabilities to produce time and time again, I don't care who you are. I don't care if your name is John. I don't care if your name is Nancy. It don't matter. If you're the best person for the job and you've proven yourself and you've proven your worth, you got the job. You shouldn't be. The NFL is going nuts with the now they have to hire somebody who's black or a woman or whatever as like as an offensive coach or something like that. Correct me in the comments if I'm speaking out of turn and incorrect, but since when does value equal just skin color and race and all of that stuff? Since when does what you bring to the table and your value to the program or your value to whatever field you're in, doctor, lawyer, fast food worker, it doesn't matter. If you can do the job well and do the job better than the next man or woman, you got the job. It's racist to say we have to hire somebody like this because we don't have somebody of this color. It's about getting the job done. We've had a partially black president. You know what I'm saying? The highest level in all of government has been reached by an African American. There is no systemic racism going on. If you want to achieve something, don't let anybody tell you that you can't go out and achieve it. But we got to stop letting sex and skin color, the pigmentation of your skin, determine worth and determine the ways we operate. No, we want to be fruitful. We want to get the job done right. It doesn't matter. All that other stuff is just noise. It's nonsense. It's left-wing radical nonsense. That's what it is. And Ben Shapiro, you hit it on the head on all of them. And people nowadays, these elitists and all of those. Forgive me, I'm not super informed on everything that goes on in the news, but I'm learning and I'm truly intrigued and interested. But from what I've seen, from my perspective, all of them want to talk about all the problems that black people have faced, that people have faced, so they can be in the popularized section, so they can sit with the people that agree with them, so they can agree with those people and everybody claps at them like they're right. Just because you agree with somebody doesn't mean it's a fact that you're agreeing on. Just because there's a new headline in the media doesn't mean it's a correct headline. Usually it's promoting false narratives and promoting false ideologies. We got to remember, there is one race, the human race, and if you want something done right, you hire the best person for the job. No matter if they're black, white, green, it really is irrelevant at the end of the day. Hire the best person for the job. And from what I've seen, black folks can achieve any level of success that they want to, man or woman. But there are men's sports, women's sports. There's a reason for that, because men usually throughout history are physically more dominant than women, and that's okay. Women have things that they're way better at than men. Men have things that they're just naturally way better at than women. That's the way God created us, in his image, Adam and Eve. You don't have to put them together, but men and women should be together, should be just men and women. All that other stuff, I don't believe in it. I don't agree with it. I still love you. I'm still praying for you that you get over your, that you get through your, I would call it a mental illness. I would call it you've been lost and you're going through a phase in life currently, and that's gonna upset some people, but that's okay. It needs to be talked about. If it's not discussed in this book, I just can't get on board with it. If it's not part of the 10 Commandments, I just can't get on board with it. But that's my take. Y'all let me know what you think down below. I know I'm going to catch some heat for it. I'm sure Ben Shapiro has caught a ton of heat. But I'd rather sit with the people that are speaking on what needs to be spoken about, talked about, the truths, instead of just agreeing with everybody and being a yes man or woman and just going with the motions, because that's how we're going to go away from truth, because now there's no truth. It's hectic. It's crazy. People are creating their own paths, going their own fleshly temptated ways, and it's spiraling out of control. We got to bring it back. We got to veer it back to the basic instructions before leaving Earth. Love God, love people. That's what it all comes down to. Love God, love your neighbor. No matter where you're at, if you're watching, you're my neighbor. If you're going through something, I'm praying for you. I'm sitting with you. Whatever you're going through, we all go through things. None of us are perfect. That's why we need Jesus. That's why we need to remember who took on the cross for our sins. Because while the world was still evil, Jesus said, you know what? I got them. They don't know any better. I got this. We got to stop pointing out all the flaws and all the things that are wrong with the world and come together, love each other, remember the foundation that it was built on, and when you see something going away from this, you got to speak on it. That doesn't mean just let everything fly. Loving people doesn't mean let everything fly. Loving people sometimes comes down to pointing out what's wrong with the world and telling somebody, you know what, I see you're going astray. Let's remember the guidelines, let's remember the foundation, and let's keep it on track so we don't spiral out like we see in the world today. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm praying for y'all. Let me know. Let's have a conversation down below. Subscribe, like, notification bell. Let me know what you'd like me to check out next. Godspeed. I'm gone.